I'm Dr. Laura Murillo, President and CEO of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and I'm so happy to have our next guest. They're very involved in the Chamber of Commerce for many, many years, and it's been such a great opportunity to see this firm grow and do some incredible work. And as you know, we're facing some challenging times as immigrants, children of immigrants, and in the fourth largest city in America and in this country, there's a lot of confusion. And unfortunately, there's a big need to make sure that we're communicating information that people can use so that they understand their rights, know where to go, know what to do, and especially in this day and age, have a family plan. And so specifically, we want to talk to Daniel Ramirez, who's been a named partner at Monty and Ramirez LLP. He's very involved here in Houston in a lot of different organizations and activities. But certainly, Daniel, we want to definitely take just a moment to say thank you for the work that you and the firm are doing, have done, and for advocating for so many people on so many topics. And it's a challenging time. So if you would please, Danny, just walk us through from your perspective, what are some of the things that our business owners can do to know their rights? Let's start with that.
Yeah, thank you, Laura. Number one, it's the Latino community is important to me, so always happy to help. You're right. I think employers, not just in Houston, but throughout the nation, have to understand that there's been a significant shift with ICE enforcement. And I think in the news, we've seen a lot of enforcement where, unfortunately, they're, pursuing and arresting undocumented folks. But from the employer compliance perspective, they're also aggressively knocking on employers' doors to make sure that employers are compliant with immigration laws. And it's not so much that ICE is looking to arrest the workers that the companies are employing, but they're truly going after companies for monetary fines. They want money. They want to know if companies are complying with the law. And if not, they're being very aggressive to issue fines that are pretty hefty. I'll give you an example. Fortune 500 company, Fortune 10 company was audited just recently, and they're having to pay $25 million in this type of investigation. So it's not just, small mom and pop companies that are non-compliant. We're talking about the Fortune 10 companies that think they have A+ compliance that are also getting hefty fines. So I think in a nutshell, Laura, I think your members should know that they have to deal with a lot of compliance issues. And they have to make sure that they put this immigration compliance on the front end and not the back end, because once ICE shows up, it's too late to start or vet your compliance plan. At that stage, ICE is already vetting to make sure that you're in compliance. And if you're not, you're going to face, what they do and issue fines and related compliance components.
So if you already have an attorney and you have a business, get a jump start on it. Make sure that you are compliant. If there's something missing, handle it on the front end.
Yeah.
Just in the event that you get called upon, because then you're going to be in the middle of it. Okay, so that's one thing. Let's go back to people are out there minding their business and they get pulled over. Like, what are their rights? And I'm just saying by constable, HPD, anyone, ICE, what are your rights?
Right. So if you're driving down the street and you get pulled over for whatever reason, what we're seeing is a twofold initiative. For the most part, it's our deputy sheriffs or city police officers policing the streets. And there are agreements with these officers to cooperate with ICE because they receive federal funding. So that's what we're seeing when they're checking someone's license plate or asking you for a driver's license. They are vetting to identify whether or not that individual is authorized to work. And so what we're seeing, unfortunately, is if I'm undocumented and I get pulled over, then I'm going to be detained for that reason, and I could get handed over to ICE. But at the end of the day, I think what we need to advise folks in the street are that you do have rights. People should not be just asking you randomly off the street if you're walking down the street, whether you're a U.S. citizen or not. And you have the Fifth Amendment not to answer those questions. But at the end of the day, look, I think each situation is going to be different. I think taking a step back, you want to make sure that you're not put in a position to get pulled over in the first place, right? So you want to be as compliant as possible. But if you're in that situation, comply with the police officer. I think just go through that process. I think the other question you're asking, Dr. Murillo, is the more aggressive ICE tactics that we've seen. They've been stopping their vehicles at construction sites and creating a traffic stop there where they're asking individual workers, are you authorized to work? It's an unfortunate situation, but I mean, the federal government is being that active because under this administration, they've set forth a quota, believe it or not, of around 3,000 arrests per day. That's what this administration wants ICE to do. And the reality is they're not hitting 3,000. They're hitting about 1,500, maybe 1,000 per day. And think about it. If you give any salesman a high quota, that's going to make them push the envelope. It's going to make them do things outside the norm. And that's what we're seeing with ICE. I mean, all the activity you see on the news or just the activity you see everywhere, it's simply because of this high quota. And these folks, these officers have to try to comply with that. And that's why we're seeing these aggressive tactics, unfortunately.
So what else would you like to share with the audience that you think from a lawyer's perspective is important to know, anything that they can control?
Yeah, I think let's talk on the employer side, then I'll go to like the individual family side. Employers need to have a plan of action. So a lot of times, employers think about what if the police show up or what if an investigator shows up. They need to have a plan of action if ICE shows up. Because if ICE shows up to your company, you don't have to give them access unless they have a valid warrant. And those are the rights that companies need to know, is that they just can't go in the back of the offices and take records or speak to employees. They need a warrant for that. So I think they need a plan of action to know whoever interacts with that front end individual that shows up, ICE, is that they need to be trained about what they need to be asking. Do you have a warrant? And even if they have a warrant, what access is it giving? Okay. That's, I think, the employer side. Now, Dr. Murillo, I think on the family side, if they show up to our house and say, is John Jones in this house? You don't have to give them access to your house unless they have a warrant. I think I've seen a lot of videos on social media when ICE is showing up with what's called an administrative warrant. And there's a distinction. An administrative warrant is something signed by their supervisor, which doesn't give them access to your house. Now, if they have a federal warrant signed by a judge, that's different. But I would bet $5 that majority of time they don't have that federal warrant to access your house. So a family member needs to know too, you don't have to give them access unless they have that federal right. So I think there's similar initiatives. Have a plan of action, know your rights, and don't give anybody access unless they have that right to enter your house or business.
And we've talked about it before we went on air, is that every family, I mean, we live in a city that is prone to hurricanes, right?
Right.
Or we have family members who don't live in the same city. And so if the cell service goes out or we lose power for 4 days, that every family should have some type of a family plan. And if you're fortunate enough to have an attorney on speed dial, it's probably a good thing to go ahead and have someone that you can call. Not everyone does. So maybe, as you mentioned, it could be a religious leader. It could be a leader in the community, someone who knows you well, that can at the very least make sure that they can try to make some phone calls for you. If you have children who are underage, making sure that they have some phone numbers at home of people that they can call in the event something goes down or happens, or you get pulled over and they don't know what to do. So this is the time that we live in, and this is why the work that you and your colleagues with the Hispanic Business Association of Lawyers and so many other lawyers groups are so important, because you're providing pro bono services to individuals and families who need it. And so again, Danny, thank you so much for all you do, but I want to give you the last word. Is there anything else you'd like to share with the audience?
I think I'm going to go back to something I said earlier. Both in the family and business side, I think we need to be proactive and come up with our action plan now, because once ICE shows up or ICE is interacting with you, it's a high stressful situation. It creates panic and stress, and it's hard to create a plan of action at that point. So be very proactive on the business side to ensure that, you are training folks to ensure that they know what they're doing now, whether you're getting investigated or if it's a raid where they're showing up with a criminal warrant. And likewise, from the family side, talk to church members, talk to family members, and identify leaders that if you don't have an attorney, at least you have a person that might help you in that emergency situation. So I think it's very important to spend time now to proactively plan for that worst case scenario.
Very well. Well, Danny, to you and the entire team, thank you so much for all you do. We'll be seeing you very soon. And if you're watching, again, we ask you to please visit our website at HoustonHispanicChamber.com for sponsorship opportunities, networking events, etc. We'll see you then. And Danny, see you real soon. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hello, I'm Dr. Laura Murillo, President and CEO of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Welcome to our television program. We're so excited to have you here. We want to remind everyone to please visit our website, HoustonHispanicChamber.com. Lots of information about upcoming events, how your business can be growing and thriving as a result of networking and collaborating with others. And also, if you're a corporation, you want to be a corporate sponsor, there's lots of opportunities there as well. Again, HoustonHispanicChamber.com. Today, we welcome one of our members. She is an entrepreneur. She's out there doing great things. You're going to learn more about her and her business. And her name is Tanez Chowdhury. She's president and CEO of Tanez Global Management, Inc. She's going to tell us all about her business and what it is that she does. So let's hear, first of all, tell us about your business and what you do and how you stay competitive for over 3 decades. Congrats.
Well, thank you. The business is the business of technology. The name of the company is Tanez Global Management, Inc. We are a family-owned business that has been doing technology solutions for the last almost 3 decades. And the one way I could say that we've been in business successfully is the fact that we've created relationships. People can buy what they buy from anywhere. The reason they buy from us is because of relationships. And that's also the reason why we like the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, is we feel like it's all built on relationships. You being out there in the community and bringing the community focus back on the chamber is kind of a circle, right? And that's how Tanez also likes to work, the circle of relationships.
Yeah.
Big integrators, they rotate, people come, people go, but relationships, they stay, positions come and go. Technology moves, as we all know, really, really fast. So having somebody there that can anchor and can serve as a trusted partner becomes really important in the long run.
Well, thank you for that. Congratulations again. I know it's a very competitive market, but I also know you take your business very seriously. You're very competent. You give great advice. So for people watching now, tell us a little bit about cybersecurity and how you help clients figure out what they need.
So, Dr. Laura, cybersecurity is only going to increase from here. People think that it's a new buzzword. It's not. We've been doing cybersecurity solutions and solutions with a security focus since we started. So technology, as it evolves, is going to need security around it. And that's going to be one of the most important components of the next gen of technology and products and technology. So honestly, today, every business is the business of technology, if you think about it, right? Even if you're running a large corporation or you're running an ice cream shop from your house, you still need a point of sale system. You still need to know about the inventory, about the ingredients, your cost of goods and services, right? So how important is that for you? And how important is it to keep that information secure? Because as we know, cybersecurity is actually the foundation of everything technology. And you want to make sure that with the advent of AI and faster compute and faster technology releases, you want to make sure what you're building is built on something secure. And cybersecurity is just a foundation. For us as a technology company, we've been very security focused, like I mentioned, and it all starts with an honest assessment, right? It's looking at what you have to ensure that your foundation is secure. And that is where Sanchez comes in, because we don't just build on stuff. We want to right size stuff for you. We want to ensure your foundational technology, your office requirements, your line of business is being met with, because it means nothing if it means nothing to you.
So one of the other things that sets you apart is the fact that you're certified because you do a lot of work in the private and public sectors. What does that mean again for not only your business, but for your clients that you serve?
So it's really important for the accounts that we serve, for the small to mid-sized market, to recognize that when we work in the public and the private sector, we are one of those companies that serves as a conduit, right? We could bring the best of breed products and services because that becomes our baseline. The fact that we are serving the public sector makes sure that we are best of breed in what we are doing. And if it's good enough for your city, for your police department, then there's a strong chance that the suggestions we are making are going to be good enough for your small to mid-sized business as well. So we are able to scale up and scale down as needed. So we want to, again, right size. We're not that company that wants to sell everyone everything all the time. That is not who we are.
Well, on that point, let's get to the question as it relates to small businesses.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
as we look at AI, if you were brought in, let's say, to a business, what are some very specific things that you could help with immediately for those businesses?
Right. So AI has been an absolute buzzword, and how can small businesses leverage that is through automations, right?
Okay.
Immediate automations, immediate scheduling, reporting, things that take your staff hours upon hours upon hours can be now delivered in minutes. And that is how we could do this. Again, right sizing for your business. So it is even more important for small businesses to create a presence. AI can be used to create a presence. You can have bots in your company managing the monotonous day-to-day automatic tasks that can be automated, so they can now leave your staff to do the more progress-oriented tasks, right? That allows you to grow. Now you are able to have somebody respond on the automation, and you know that the responses are going to be what you've delivered, what you want them to know about you. You could have marketing as a bot, right? Marketing as a service. You could have certain accounts that are report generating accounts that can have that reporting automated for you. You could have your front desk automated where it responds after hours. Things like that, that give you that opportunity that allows small business to have that global impact that they're looking for, or at least a larger footprint within the community.
Well, we thank you for all that you're doing. We thank you for the work that you have provided to so many public and private businesses, for being involved in the chamber throughout the community. I see you out there again in person, connecting with people. And so our thanks to you and the entire Sanchez Global Management Inc. team for being with us. Have a super day, and we'll see you very soon. Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hello, I'm Dr. Laura Murillo, President and CEO of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. We hope everyone is doing well, and we encourage you to please visit our website at HoustonHispanicChamber.com for information about upcoming events and opportunities for your business, your non-for-profit, your corporations, and ways to partner with the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Today, our guest is President of the Houston Mortgage Bankers Association, and he is Spiro Patricis. Welcome, Spiro. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you. Glad to be here today.
Well, thank you so much. And this is an interesting time. I know that the Federal Reserve has been having a lot of conversations about interest rates and what's going to happen. But I also know that in Houston, some people aren't waiting for that. They're taking full advantage of whatever opportunities are available. And we talk a lot with bankers, with realtors, with brokers, etc. So from your vantage point, talk to us about first-time homeowners and what opportunities may present themselves.
You know, that's a great question. I'll tell you why, because I got three young daughters. One is in the workforce, just entered in the workforce, and two are in college. So we're having similar conversations. And reality is that there's a lot of first-time home buyers that are coming in the market every day. And the $1 million question is, do I buy or I rent? So the example that I give to my daughters, and would give it to all first-time home buyers, is don't be afraid of the rates. The rates are, it is what it is. The rates have been a lot higher than what they are today, but we have to also, understand that rates are kind of high today. Rates will remain high this year. I mean, there's no, negotiations on that. But if you look at, the privileges between buying or renting, when you purchase and you have that dream of home ownership, you purchase a house, you build wealth, you build equity. If you wait for a year or two, and let's assume that you're renting, when you rent, you don't see that money back. And plus, when you rent that same, or you try to buy that property a year later than today, guess what? That price has gone up. Houston has to, it's a relocation sweet spot. So prices do go up no matter what, the rate environment is doing. So it's always a good time for first-time home buyers to entertain, home ownership. And not only that, there's a lot of products out there for first-time home buyers, a lot of grant money that banks are putting out there that first-time home buyers can take advantage. So I think it's a perfect time for home buyers to dive into the market.
So let's talk about that. And I know that there are people who say, well, you know what? I'm going to lock in the price, as you mentioned, because it's only going to increase. I can't do anything about the rate other than make sure that the person's credit score, for example, right, that they're preparing themselves to get the best rate they can. But there's
Correct.
always refinancing. So how soon after someone, let's say today, they close their home and they lock in their rate, how soon can they go and try to refinance? And what makes sense? What's appropriate for refinancing?
So there's a saying in the mortgage industry that you marry the property and you date the rate. So
You marry the property and you date the rate. Very
correct.
good. Okay. So
So
what's the
um,
timeline on the dating part? Let's say again,
the
you
dating
locked it
part,
in today.
the dating part, the dating part, I would say there's no time frame.
Uh-huh.
So number one, let's talk about rate. So the average first-time home buyer, let's say that the purchase price is anywhere from $300,000 to $500,000. The higher the higher the loan amount, when drapes drop a quarter or 0.5%, it makes sense. But if the loan amount is not that high, sometimes you have to wait for that rate to drop about 1%, right? So what I would recommend is when you do the math, obviously there's going to be closing costs. So closing costs on a $200,000-300,000 loan is going to be about $5,000. So you have to kind of look at how much money you're saving with that rate reduction and how much money is it costing you to do that refinance. So I would say, if today's average rate is about 6.5 for a first-time home buyer, when they see the rate going to 5.5 or high fives, it might be a good time to refinance. The other piece is you have mortgage insurance or you don't. So is it time that you can get around that mortgage insurance with a refinance, especially on an FHA loan? That's another line item to look at, of how to reduce your monthly payment. So the answer is, the timing, it all depends on, the rate environment and the consumer's, situation with their specific mortgage.
Understood. And this is where you come in and all of the many individuals who are experts and our friends over at Prosperity Bank who work with you and with so many other individuals that are in this home environment. So tell us a little bit about Prosperity's environment as it relates to mortgages in Houston.
So Prosperity, as you all know, we're a community, a regional bank. We've been in Houston for many years. Some feedback around, Prosperity. Prosperity really grew through acquisition. It started out in the rural markets of, Texas, and then through acquisition, they became, larger and larger. The one thing that I absolutely love, with Prosperity is the products that we offer. What I'm trying to say with that, obviously you have the conventional first-time home buyers, your cookie cutter loans, your black and white loans, right? Within Prosperity, we also offer a lot of products that a lot of our competitors don't. For instance, construction to perm loans, lot loans. So there's a lot of loans that we offer that the competition doesn't. So it kind of separates us in the marketplace. And the other piece is we're very, very personable as a bank. And you know who to talk to. And we make decisions at a local level. So that's the beauty about prosperity.
Yes, so much to talk about as it relates to homes. And one of the things that seems to be perking up, and you mentioned it earlier, is especially for younger generations, this idea that's floating that it's okay to rent, that buying is not for everyone. Talk about that, because we do have a lot of people who might be watching this who are perhaps torn because they think they cannot afford a home in Houston anymore.
Absolutely. And you know, I'm gonna kind of go back as a president, you know, of Houston Mortgage Bankers Association. We have a lot of economists that come in and they do presentations, and a lot of times realtors will ask that same question.
Yes.
And let me tell you what reality is. I mean, I understand home prices have gone up. I also understand, though, that our kids, that generation, they come out of college and a lot of them make six figures. Okay. Let's put ourselves back in that day. I was in my mid 30s till I started making six figures, right? So I compare my generation at that point with my daughter's generation, right? So virtually no debt. You know, they live at home. They have a good degree, a good job. So, but for whatever reason is, the industry is saying, well, you need 20% down. We know that that's not the reality. You can go in with as little as no money down on specific loans, right? So that should not be, you know, a stopper when you're in the home buying experience. Now, if you feel like you need to hit a pause, that, you know what, I need to rent because I need to repair my credit, or I need to rent because I'm not at the income that I need to be. I understand all that. So there's no right or wrong. It's just the amount of time that you're spending in renting versus buying. So the quicker that you get out of that rent space into the home buyer space, more beneficial for that individual.
Very well. Well, before we wrap up, is there anything else that you'd like to share with the audience?
What I would like to share is, you know, that this conversation here, it's locally in Houston, it's in Texas. And the one thing I'm going to tell you is that we are blessed that we live in a state that it's a relocation sweet spot. You know, home prices are still affordable, and a lot of people are trying to relocate to Texas for job growth, and obviously, you know, for the cost of living. So we are blessed to be here. And you know what? Don't ever discount that, because that's, you know, half of the battle for other states that we already, you know, have it here baked into what we do every day.
Well, thank you so much, Spiro, for all that you do, and to our friends over at Prosperity Bank. Thank you so much for serving as a corporate partner. We'll see you very soon, and we hope you visit our website for upcoming events, sponsorship opportunities, volunteer opportunities, and so much more. Thank you so much. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Hello, I'm Dr. Laura Murillo, President and CEO of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. I am so excited about this interview. You're going to learn more about Eddie Mendoza and his World Cup journey. But before we do that, let me tell you a little bit about Eddie. I guess we've known each other now well over 10 years, and he was working for a corporation and said, I want to be an entrepreneur. I'm going to do my own thing. And he laid it out, and we talked about it. And fast forward, he has his own business. He works in construction and project management, and his company has done work for everything from Starbucks renovations to apartment complexes to emerging leaders, you know, trying to get some demo work done. You name it, he's done it. And I really want us to have the opportunity for him to share a little bit about himself. His two sisters, all three of them have gone through our Emerging Leaders Program, and our Business Institute is something that he has gone through. But that's a very long-winded introduction. But all this to say that not only has he done those things, but he's also on the board of our Chamber Foundation and is very involved with us and super involved in the community on top of all of that. And banner year for him. He also recently was married. And so he's got a lot happening. And I thought he would be great to hear from as an entrepreneur, a chamber member, a foundation board member, and a chamber emerging leader. Welcome, Eddie.
Oh, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you for the time. And
Yeah.
I'm really excited for this interview.
Well, listen, so much to talk about, Eddie. You're from Houston. You grew up here. Your parents are from Mexico. Your two sisters, as mentioned, have gone through the program as well. And you've spent a lot and given a lot of your time to the Hispanic Chamber and to our foundation. Why?
Yeah, pretty much since 2014, I got the opportunity to be part of the emerging leaders, and ever since then, I've really liked being a part of it. There's a lot of great activities and opportunities and events, and I like to give back, open doors, and just like you invested in us, invest in the next generation coming up, and open as many doors as I can.
And you have, and you do, and you typically bring other people to the events. And one of the things that I really admire about you, Eddie, is that you go out of your way to make sure that you are bringing people to the events, that you are helping them with introductions and business opportunities. And like me, it's karma. It comes back to you, right? In the sense that you're helping them and taking care of them, and then they return the favor, hopefully. And so thank you for all of that. And now I want to talk about your business. Can you tell me more about your business, please, and what you're doing to make sure that it continues to grow? Talk to us about your business.
Yeah, so Remodel HTX, it's been in business since 2015. So we've been in business for over 10 years now. We do residential,
Yes.
commercial, and multifamily projects. We specialize in facility maintenance. So any work order from day and night for Starbucks, Cane's, Five Guys, Exxon, Shell, Chili's, we take care of them. And we just got a chance to work on the Houston Fan Fest, which we were on site for 90 days since it started on May 1st. So now
Yes.
this is our last week. So from helping build it to maintaining it to now decommissioning it, we've been a part of it, and it's been amazing, a great community project, and a lot of good leaders like yourself and the rest of the team. Thank you for your leadership.
Absolutely, Eddie. And so many people would love to have that list of clientele that you have. You know, one of the things that I say to emerging leaders is take care of the job that you have, and the next one will find you. And so whether it's a renovation of, someone's house or one room, you do that, you do a great job, then other jobs will find you. What was one of your first big breaks in terms of a project for you in your new business? What would you say was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I got that particular project? What was it?
Yeah, so pretty much office renovations. Whenever anybody reaches out to me that they want to renovate the full office, that's something that we're going to be there for 2 to 3 months. So it's going to keep us busy for a good while. So once you
Yeah,
get into the commercial space, it's going to be bigger projects. So you got to be able to float the money and take care of your guys every week and make sure that you're getting progress payments. So that
yes.
it helps you grow. And as long as you get out of your comfort zone little by little, you're going to be able to tackle it down.
Yeah. So a lot of people watching us might have a business, Eddie, or might want to start a business.
Mhm.
What is something you'd like to share with them?
So pretty much whenever they send you a bid request, before you say you can't do it, just give it a day or two, think about it, and see if you can figure it out. Because there's a lot of times it just takes a little bit of like creativity or see how you could make it happen. Because some people get scared if it's net 30, you got to wait 30 days to get paid, or net 60. But just see if you could probably there's a way to make it happen. Just really before you say no, double check and give it a day to think about it
And find ways maybe to negotiate
for
and
sure.
all of that. And then let's talk about, you brought up capital, right? And so
Mhm.
that's something that keeps business owners awake at night, right? Sometimes
Yes.
you've got more capital than you expected to have, and that's a great month. And other
Mhm.
times it's like it's a tougher month. So on capital, how important is your relationship with your bank or banks? And what advice again do you have for small business owners?
Yeah, I would say have a good relationship with your banker. See if you could get a line of credit or see if there's any way that little by little you could start getting a better relationship, better rates. And as the time goes, they're going to be offering you stuff because they see that you're growing and there's more opportunities, bigger projects, and they want to be there with you as you grow.
Exactly. So, okay. So on the work front, check those boxes. You're getting your contracts, you're paying your employees, et cetera, your contractors. I know big picture for you was, hey, I'm also going to have fun during all of this. And your big bucket list came true in a marvelous way. And that was the 2026 World Cup that was hosted in Houston, Texas. And I want people to understand just, how much soccer means to you and what this year has meant to you.
Oh yeah, it's been amazing. Soccer's my passion. I go to the World Cup every 4 years, and this was the best one because I got to take my family, friends. We got to go to a game together, Brazil versus Japan. So I got to go share these special moments with good friends and community leaders like yourself, and just have a good time. That the World Cup came, it had a great economic impact for the city. Everybody loved it. If they didn't get a chance to go to the game in NRG, they got a chance to check out the Fan Fest. It was just a great time for 39 days, and I'm glad
It
Houston got to experience
absolutely,
it.
and so many highlights, right? I mean, with Houston seeing so many goals, right?
Mhm.
Number one, the logistics. I think a lot of people were worried about whether Houston could accommodate all of these people at the airports and getting them back and forth. And I'm going to say that I go to a lot of events at NRG, and
Mhm.
it was relatively seamless. I think people like you and I mean, we were at the stadium by 9:30 in the
Yeah.
morning, right? And the matches didn't begin until noon. But then you went to the final in New York. How was that?
Yeah, the final was amazing. And same, we went there 3 hours before. This time they actually opened 4 hours before because they knew it was going to be the biggest thing of the year. It was amazing. We had a great time. And like you said, the logistics was really well. So hats off to all the community leaders and everybody in the stadium. They did a great job. And overall, I think Houston and everybody in the US did great.
And what a great load of happiness and joy. Even especially, I want to say, and I want to give a big thanks to the volunteers. They were standing out there for hours in 100+ weather, and some of them wore all their gear, right? They had the hats, they had the jackets and the pants, everything. And they were just smiling and directing people and all of that. Fan Fest. Let's talk about Fan Fest. Over 500,000 people came in and out of there. And I was so happy when I walked in pre it opening with some of the board members from the Sports Authority. I saw a couple of your contractors that I just happened to know. And I was like, where's Eddie? They said he just left. He went to get material. But what a shot in the arm for business, for entrepreneurs like yourself. And I mean, what a dream come true for you, right? Like, not only were you able to go to all of these events and the fan fest, but you helped bring it together and build it. And like you said, break it down too.
Yeah, no, it was a great opportunity, and thank you to the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. There was a lot of people, a lot of information that y'all were given at the luncheon and expo about the World Cup coming, how to get some bid opportunities, and y'all just really kept us informed. It was just up to us to pretty much do the next steps, get the insurance requirements, and just bid on the opportunities. I bid on 9 opportunities, and I got 3 out of those 9. So it really took some time, but you could bid on it, and it could happen.
Well, Eddie, I think that's the other lesson learned here from our conversation is that some people would just say, I'm not going to get it. I
Mhm.
don't have the bond money that I need. I don't have the insurance. Where am I going to find the workers? I mean, there's 100 reasons that somebody could give for not doing it. And then there's the, okay. I mean, I know personally because you and I have talked about it. You know, you even went to emerging leaders that had insurance companies that say, hey,
Mhm.
how do we make this work? And I think that's the difference between people who work hard versus people who just try a little bit or don't try at all. There is a big
Definitely.
difference. And so when you see people who are successful, what I think sometimes is not taken into account is how much more they had to do to get there. So again, I think your example of now having that as part of your portfolio is going to open a lot of other doors. So anything else that you want to share about the World Cup, about working, you know, as part of the team that helped build FanFest, anything else that was memorable for you during this World Cup time?
I think it was just an amazing experience working on the Fan Fest. I got a chance to meet a lot of the other vendors. We got to
Yes.
work together, so we were on site every day. So if any
Yeah.
other vendor needed something, we were there to support as well. And yeah, it opened a lot of doors, like you said, and we're just excited to see what next projects come about. Bidding on some
Yes.
more work with Harris County, the city of Houston. We currently work with the Houston Land Bank, and just looking at some other opportunities that are coming down the road.
Yes. And again, I just want to remind everyone, none of this is easy. If it were, everyone would do it. And Houston's a large city, and there's a lot of people who do the work that Eddie does with his firm. And it's H Techs, right? Houston,
Mhm.
Texas.
Remodel HTX, yes.
Remodel HTX, Remodel HTX. And so having said that, it's not easy. There's a lot of expectations. I mean, I know because again, I saw you and you're like, I got to run and get more this, or, oh, they just gave us another opportunity to do something that wasn't even in your contract, but you said, we can do it. We'll figure it out. And that's what it's about, Houstonians, is stepping up to the plate. And like I say, in the emerging leaders, be ready, stay ready, right? You never
Definitely.
know. And I think Eddie has used so many different skills that he has, but especially and most especially relationships. He's really good at building relationships. And I think the chamber's been a great hub and has been mutually beneficial because he's brought people to us. We've introduced him to people, and you've set a really great pace for the rest of the emerging leaders and other people who are entrepreneurs, Eddie. So thank you. I think one of my favorite matches is the one where I went with you and to see Japan and their fans. I don't think I'd seen that aspect of it. And they were just like so in sync with their, cheering and exuberance. What a great experience. And I'm just so proud of you on a personal note. I've seen how far you've come, and I only imagine what else is next for you. And that the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce and our foundation is here to support you, to cheer you on, and again, to use you as a great example of someone who's hardworking and has done just great things. So thanks a lot for joining us. And we'll see you at the Infrastructure Summit. Everyone that's watching, many opportunities, the Leadership Conference, the Data Summit, everything's on our website. Please join us. And again, please make sure that you're doing business with our entrepreneurs such as Eddie Mendoza. Eddie, anything to add before we close?
We really appreciate you. Thank you to the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, Dr. Murillo, and the whole team. It's always a great time to see you. And thank you for everything you do for the community.
Hello, I'm Dr. Laura Murillo, President and CEO of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for watching. Thank you to our partners to make sure that we can provide you with updated information about what's going on in our community. And again, please remember, visit the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce website for upcoming events, corporate sponsorship opportunities, volunteer opportunities, and again, what we can do to help support your business. Today, we have none other than Carlos Duarte, who's been a great friend, a tremendous leader in our city, doing incredible work. And he's got something exciting to update us on, which is a phenomenal, long overdue project. And that is the ALMA project. And he's going to tell you exactly what that is. But again, he's the president of ALMA. He is Carlos Duarte. Thank you, Carlos, for joining us.
On the contrary, Dr. Murillo, it's always fantastic to be part of your program.
Thank you very much, Carlos. Now, some people don't know what I'm talking about when I say ALMA. Other people do know and are very excited, including some people such as our Commissioner, Adrian Garcia, and so many other allies who are rallying behind you and this effort. So let's tell everyone what ALMA is.
Well, ALMA is a nonprofit based out of Houston that is building a state-of-the-art, world-class museum complex. And like you mentioned, it's way overdue. The Latino community has had tremendous development in terms of our leadership. For example, we have one of the most important chambers, Hispanic chambers of commerce in the nation, led by you. We have tremendous elected officials. We have advocacy organizations, but we do not have a place that we can call home, a place where we can express ourselves through the arts and culture. So it's not only a museum, it's going to be anchored by a museum, but we'll also have a space for performing arts. It will have an open space like a Zócalo for festivals and whatnot. And it will importantly have space, obviously, for ballet folklorico classes for artists so that they can improve on their talents and make their spaces.
Well, so do you have any idea the location where this might be?
Yes, it is very important that, after a very big analysis and professional involvement, we decided that we wanted to be at the core of Latinidad in Houston. And that, of course, is the East End. And the East End, it's not only the birth of our community, but it's also the place where Houston was born. So we are going to be at the core, at the center of the East End. And of course, it is important to say that we are honoring the Mexican American, the Tejano community that has been at the forefront of Latinidad in Houston. But this will not only be an East End endeavor, right? The aspiration is that eventually we will get congressional approval to become a national museum and cultural complex that will represent all of Latinos, not only in Houston, but in the nation, because it is focused on U.S. Latinos.
U.S. Latinos in Houston. And certainly, without doubt, Houston is the right city. It's the right time. As mentioned earlier, certainly overdue. And while many of us, including yours truly, born and raised in Houston's East End, we have Latinos all over Houston and throughout the country. And not only Mexican American, but Cuban, Venezolanos, Chilangos, everything you name it, we have them. And so this is a great effort. And I also want to emphasize that people who are involved in this are not all Hispanic. There are a lot of non-Latinos who are allies saying, absolutely, let's get this done. Talk about why this is important for the broader community and not just Houston and not just Latinos.
Well, so Houston is actually claiming its spot as the fourth largest city in the nation, as the gateway to Latin America. And we experienced it during the World Cup, right? I mean, people were coming and they said, I want to experience the Texas barbecue, the brisket. I want to experience the Tejano or the cowboy. But we are much more than that, right? We are a center of Latinidad. And I think it is important that a lot of the community members, not Latinos, understand that when more than 40% of your community is Latinos, that you really want to build on that strength, because we have so much to contribute. Obviously, we see it through our culinary arts, but then you also see us, important members of our community in the Houston Grand Opera, the ballet, and so on and so forth. So all of that cultural richness, it's not only for Latinos, but it's something that showcases the cosmopolitan nature of Houston and how it is that we are a gateway to the American experience, but through a Latino lens.
Absolutely. So let's talk about today. Now, what is some of the progress that has been made and what's still forthcoming?
Yes, so it has been fantastic, a fantastic road that we have followed. We are at a crossroads where we are improving on our governance. We have built a number of committees, and now we are going to be expanding to incorporate non-Latinos into our board. That's coming up in the next phase for next year. We have made tremendous progress in terms of fundraising. We continue to have Houston Endowment, Brown Foundation, and in conversation with others that are supporting us, not only for programming and operations, but hopefully soon for land acquisition. And we've had some major announcements that we're going to be making at Alma Day, September the 15th. Last year, it was made Alma Day. So we are going to be making important announcements in terms of the land. We are going to be showcasing some of the renderings, the conceptual renderings on what the place is going to look like. We're going to come out with that really big. And then we're going to be announcing some major fundraising developments that have happened with Alma. And then finally, we are probably going to be announcing the specific location where we are going to be building this incredible cultural district.
What's the timeline?
Well, so I believe that we're going to be closing on the land by the end of the year. We are going to then go work on the master plan. How is it going? What's that going to look like? In a couple of years, we're going to break ground and start building. I think we will be opening by 2032. Having said that, we are actively engaging with our community. We have multiple partnerships with key institutions like the MFAH and others, and we have programming happening throughout the year. So it's not we will have the dream built. It's like we are building the plane as we're flying it.
And you're already engaging, as mentioned, other groups, other community leaders, and other potential donors. And so for more information, where can people go if they want to donate, they want to get involved?
Yes, it is important for them to go to alma.org, to our website, and they will find all of this information. And, in the next couple of days, we will be announcing the specific location for our Alma Day celebration, and people are welcome to join us.
Well, Carlos, congratulations, and thank you for leading this very important effort on behalf of all Houstonians who will be the beneficiaries of this. So again, for more information, visit their website. Carlos, keep leading us, and thank you for your engagement here in Houston and with the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. We'll see you very soon, my friend.